6 o'clock and everyone is here. Councilman Odom will be joining us. Councilman Woods, would you give us the invocation?
Oh, Heavenly Father, once again you allow us to assemble together, Lord, upon your name. Father, we partake in this important meeting, Lord. We ask that you allow us to continue, Lord, to work together hand in hand to make Marlborough County the best place we can. And Father, I know that so many people going through so many ups and downs, Lord, but we keep our hands in your hand each and every day. And Father, with your will for us to progress accordingly, Lord, we thank you. These are the blessings of your Son, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Amen. We need the approval of agenda items. Your motion?
Second.
Second. Okay. All in favor? All right. Down to public hearing. Ordinance number 827, an ordinance to adopt the annual budget and to make appropriations for Marlborough County for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023. This is the third reading.
Mr. Chairman, I gave you all a couple of notes here that, and the chart that we used at the work session. You see that's in there. So after the work session we had the other day, we went back and worked it to see where we were, and it was able to get it out, rounded down to 5 mills with 376,925 out of reserve. That's a little more. That 376 was a little more than the 350 target, but a little less than the 400. We kind of said we could try. We've been through it. Obviously, we didn't fine tune everything until yesterday. Got those to you late. We apologize for being late, but we just wanted to make sure we were correct on the revenue side and didn't miss something since it rounded down a little bit. So this budget represents an increase of 5 mills. That is the first increase in about 4 years of Florida County Council. Last year, if you remember, County Council decreased taxes by 3.3 mills. Now, if you'll remember, that's sort of apples and oranges. The reason that you decreased it was because the revaluation of all the property in the county meant that you would have been doing a tax increase if you didn't adjust it back down. So County Council adjusted it properly, as the law requires. You did what you're supposed to do. And so that equaled it out. But this year, with inflationary increases and other increases, it required an increase of 5 mills. Additionally, the budget includes an increase in the roll cart charge, annual roll cart charge, up to $235 per residence and $185 per resident receiving homestead exemption. So council has taken a firm position all along in that process to make sure and minimize the impact on folks that are on homestead. And those are folks that are over 65 or disabled and folks that need that help. And so we're able to keep that a little bit less of an increase, and then the other one went up to $235. Now, one thing that we feel pretty good about is that this is a 3-year renewal, and you all know what we're all facing, uncertainty with the economy and the things that go with that, fuel and everything else. So we feel pretty good about a 3-year deal there. The general fund, we had several things we just couldn't avoid. We had state retirement, we had the cost of living and comp adjustments from last year. We've had things that had to be done in the sheriff's office and detention center, and council did approve a cost of living increase next year for all employees. So those are things that we've been talking about in the workshops, and you've heard presentations, and you've seen this over the last year or so. So those are things that came down to being a part of this budget. And the budget numbers, as I've just called them out with the 5 mil increase in the reserve usage, will cover that. It is important that we protect this reserve, and you have with this proposal, because again, we don't know what's going to happen this coming year. We just don't know, and we may have to go back into that. One other quick note is in the Rural Fire Fund, Council, 6 or 8 years ago, had an increase in rural fire millage to try to adopt things that were laid out in the ISO plan to help people's insurance costs and to make the county safer. And the rural fire departments have done a great job doing that. And that fund, there's tax millage just for that has to be used for that. And that millage has started to bring in more money than expenses in the past budget. So this year they made a request, and it's in the budget for y'all tonight, to do a couple of things. One is to increase the per fire call pay for volunteers. So if they go out on a fire call, they were getting $15 a call, and they want to go to 17. When y'all did that, it's been about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it had a tremendous impact on keeping volunteers. The volunteers, as you all know, lots of folks on the fire department are getting older, aging out. It's hard to keep people, hard to attract young people. So that's been a really strong thing there. Also, council had approved several years ago some part-time money, so they have fire people that work part-time at one of the stations during the day. During the day is the biggest challenge when you have a fire because people are working. And 25 years ago, people worked on jobs that they could just leave their business or the farm or whatever and go to a call, and you don't have that now. But by having those people on the day shift, then they can respond with equipment, and then the rest of the folks can meet them there. So they had asked that we add 2 hours a day to that, and that was possible with the money coming in. And then the last thing is, there's about $100,000 there that was requested to give to the fire department. And we met with the fire chiefs and the fire committee that y'all appoint and came to an agreement that use that money to pay specific expenses for the fire departments instead of just saying, here's some money. And the two things that they identified and staff agrees with are their workers' comp type insurance and their fuel. So we will take that amount of money as far as it can go to accomplish those goals. And again, this doesn't require any kind of tax increase. It's just what's coming in going back out, and that's what it's supposed to do. We started when I started here, we started building a reserve in there, and we've reached the level that the reserve is adequate, so there's no need to put money in there every year. So those are the high points of the budget. We appreciate council and staff's efforts over the last 2 months, and of course last Thursday we had a pretty long work session, and this is where it ended up. So we would propose that when you get to that on the agenda for our third and final reading.
All right, any questions?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Administrator, I know we're talking about the $5 million increase. Can we elaborate, not into us, because we went through it in the work session, what it would mean per dollar, so the individual that listened on the internet, Facebook, whatever, understand but what the millage is per the household, how it gonna fit them?
Yeah, my computer's over there, but I believe it's $2 per $50,000.
Okay.
So it'd be $10 for every $50,000 of value you had there. And we can provide that to the newspaper too and make sure that they have that. We had for those of you who weren't here, we had a chart that you could look down. So it was $2 per, if your house is worth $50,000, it's a $2 increase.
All right.
But this would make it a $10 increase because it's $5 million.
Right. I will make sure that the citizens understand.
And $3 for rental property, correct?
Yeah, so stuff that's not your residence, it's $3 per $50,000, if I remember correctly. So we'll also put that on the website for folks to see. Now, I apologize, my thing's over there.
Any other questions for the administrator? All right, moving to ordinance 828, an ordinance to approve the capital improvement plan for Marlborough County for the period of fiscal year 2023 to 2027. Third reading. We're going to table this item.
Mr. Chairman, I'll explain as we get on down in the agenda, but we're able to use our general obligation bond money to cover some capital costs like roofs and paving and all, and we'll have further action for y'all to request or consider at the next meeting. So we ask that you just table that.
So this is not the third reading? Of course.
Yeah, that's correct. We just ask you to table that.
Okay, moving on now to the approval of minutes. We have the meeting April 26, 2022, the budget workshop.
Move to approve April 26, 2022.
All right, all in favor?
Abstain.
We had the meeting May 10th, 2022, budget work session.
So move.
All right, and second, all right. All in favor? We had the May 10th meeting, 2022, the regular council meeting. You abstain? Okay. All right, we got a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor? All right, moving to old business. Ordinance 827, an ordinance to adopt the annual budget and to make appropriations for Marlborough County for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023, third reading. And Ron, you've already...
One thing I didn't mention, in the little packet has the number of employees in each department. I think that's interesting. We've seen a little growth, but I have nothing further to add.
All right. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 827?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Nay.
You got the count, Susan? All right, moving on down to ordinance 828. We have tabled this. Any more to say on that?
Yeah, I think you need to vote to table it in this, where it is on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we table ordinance 828.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Ordinance 829, an ordinance to amend Marlborough County Code of Ordinances, Ordinance 601, Chapter 58, Taxation, by adding Article 6, Special Property Tax Assessment Program for Rehabilitated Historic Properties, to authorize and to establish a program to grant special property tax assessments to certain rehabilitated historic properties. Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, this is something the city of Bennettsville approached us about. It provides a tax credit for someone that would restore a downtown building or an old house or something like that. And after researching it, we already had it in place. Council had passed it in 2006, I believe. And so this, I think the only, what, Mr. Hart, what does this change?
Let me speak to the change in this. As a result of a modification to the code, there is an allowance to actually freeze the millage for up to 20 years. Prior authorization was only up to 10. So what we've done with this ordinance is follow the new guidelines as established by the state code of laws, which allows us then to provide a property tax freeze for up to 20 years on a rehabilitation project that also meets Department of Interior standards, and of course they have to go through the state historic property tax office as well. So it's the rehabilitation has to be done according to some pretty precise standards. So anyway, this ordinance just amends what we've already got, but it brings it up to the current allowable period.
All right, thank you.
Other counties doing this in the state, is this kind of a?
Yeah, I mean, when we went to look, it was every county. I mean, we didn't go down the list, but I mean, it's everywhere.
Any other questions?
It is second reading, by the way. That, I don't know. It's not final reading.
Motion approved for second reading only.
So moved.
All right, there's a second. All right, all in favor? All right, moving to new business. Resolution number 622, 0801, a resolution authorizing submission of an application by Marlborough County for airport rescue grant from the Federal Aviation Administration in the amount of $22,000 and authorization to accept grant if awarded.
Mr. Chairman, this is some money, COVID-type money that's come down. It requires no match, and it can be used for a multitude of purposes at the airport. So we'd recommend that the council approve it, and we take it. It's free money. Free to somebody.
You said no match.
No match.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept resolution 06-2201.
Second.
And there's a second, all right, all in favor? All right, resolution 6-22-02, a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Office of the SC Department of Health and Environmental Control by Marlborough County for fiscal year 2023 waste tire grant funds in the amount of $2,750 and authorization to accept grant if awarded.
Mr. Chairman, this also requires no match, and it's used every year to do some marketing with billboards and things. And we also receive money to help dispose of tires, and I put a flyer at your stations. Mr. Stroman had called me last week before last, about, our ability to take tires that people have thrown out. And in 2018, County Council approved doing a whole month, I believe, where folks could bring tires and we wouldn't charge them. And so we've looked into it, and we feel like that we can get grant funds to do that. And if y'all like, we'll bring that back at the next meeting. Y'all are out and about, you see tires everywhere, and people are putting in the ditches and everywhere. And it would be a way to use this and other grant funds to help clean up and have a period of time that people could bring them in. We wouldn't recommend, commercial people, but just, people cleaning up property or cleaning up their yard. But this specific grant that's on your agenda has no match, and it goes to that general purpose.
Any other questions? Is there a motion? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Resolution 6-22-03, a resolution authorizing submission of an application by Marlborough County to the South Carolina Emergency Management Office for the fiscal year 2022 Local Emergency Management Performance Grant and authorization to accept grant if awarded.
Mr. Chairman, this is something that is put before council every year, and it basically helps pay for the operation of the Emergency Management Department. Mr. Akers is over that, and 911. And there is no match. I mean, I guess in theory, in actuality, there's a match, because you'd have to have your own department doing this, but it just comes in and helps fund that. So we would ask that you approve this as you have done for every year for at least 10 years that I've been here.
You have any idea what the dollar amount may be?
Yes, it's in the budget. Wes, do you remember? I'll put you on the spot while I look it up.
It's free money, so I guess anything free is good.
Yeah, it's something that every county gets every year, and you actually come to depend on it. And I apologize for not having it right in front of me, but I can get it for you. Or I can
Is it pretty consistent on the amount from year to year?
Yeah, I don't know that it's increased. Wes, do you see it?
Well, the thing is about $20,000.
Well, it's in here. I guess we could have read the tab. It's $65,182. Yeah. So it's no small potatoes. Sorry for that. Should have had that tab.
All right, any other questions? Do we have a motion?
So move.
In a second? All right, all in favor? All right, resolution 06-2204, a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Office of the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control of Marlborough County for fiscal year 2023, used oil grant funds in the amount of $18,250 and and authorization to accept grant if awarded.
Mr. Chairman, this is kind of like the other one. These are things that we ask for renewal of every year. And this money is used for the oil that's taken in that people bring to the convenience centers, and it just pays for that disposal because it's not cheap anymore. It requires no match, and it's $18,250.
It is a match.
It requires no match.
No match, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions?
Move resolution 06-2204.
Second. All right, all in favor? All right, moving to appointments to boards and commissions.
We know of none at this time.
Council members have any? All right, move to the acceptance of bids, approval of Soleil Source Procurement aggregates for county unpaved roads.
Mr. Chairman, this is a continuation of a program that's been successful over the last 5 or 6 years, and that is a partnership with the County Transportation Committee where they've given us funds to put rock on the roads. And this year it's $100,000 that'll go towards that. But in order to receive those state funds, you have to show how you did the procurement side of it. And we're allowed to do what's called sole source procurement because the only place you can get slag is at Nucor, which is TMS International in Hartsville. So this is just certification that there's not 2 or 3 places right here in the area. And this is a technicality required by the state. So we would request that you approve this.
Make a motion.
Okay, all in favor? All right, moving to reports. The finance report, Mr. Westphal.
Mr. Chairman, Council, Mr. Munn, when you have your report before you for the 11 months ended May 31, 2022, the total revenues collected to date, that day were $11,904,474. In comparison with the 11 months ended last year, that amount was $11,015,039. So you can see it's about $900,000 greater. General fund expenditures through that same period totaled $10,528,671 of a $12,825,534 budget, or 82.09% of budget year-to-date. Expenditures for the 11 months ended May 31, 2021 totaled $10,180,710,000. So we're a little bit, in summary, income is higher due to increases with state and local revenues, and expenditures are higher for the same period, but not as much as revenues have increased. Overall, the county is in better position approaching year end, so I think we'll have some, very, favorable financial results at the end of this fiscal year. I don't know if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Mr. West. I'll move to the administrator's report.
Mr. Chairman, as we do each month, we recognize employee service anniversaries greater than 5 years. And this year we have a handful. Ms. Deborah Weldon, 22 years, Jackie Baldwin, 18 years, Mr. Johnny Fair, 17 years, and Bianca Ivory, 9 years. So if you see those folks, please thank them for the job they do and their time here with the county. I did note on there that the Association of Counties Conference is coming up the first week in August. And they've changed where it is, and they've made it to where it's during the week, so it's a little bit different. But we're going to, Ms. Rivers and I will get in touch with you to determine, what we want to do that week, and the classes and all available for that. So it is different, in a different place. As far as economic development, we did some executive session stuff last week, and that project we provided that information to the project and wait to hear a response. The spec building is through, it's complete, we have the keys, it's done. So we want to try to get up with you all and try to come up with a few days to have some sort of ribbon cutting and go out there and look at it, but it's done. They kicked it in high gear, and we're able to finish it. So now we're trying to market it, working with NISA, and then we'll push all that to the state. Hopefully they're about through with the part they're doing, but we hope that we'll be able to move this very quickly and put some jobs in it. The Delta project also is moving very fast. They've begun demolishing the center portion, which is called Plant 2. They had to do asbestos abatement first, and they're about through with that, but they've been tearing down a little bit as they go, as they get pieces of it done. So we need to we want to go out and make a photo there. We need to probably do it pretty quick, because I think once they get going, they're going to do it. So that's going to be great. When you come from Bennettsville to Sherrall and you go up that hill where that bridge is over the railroad, most of the stuff you see that looks so bad, that's what's getting torn down. We're still negotiating with the contractor for a partial demolition of the front building, which includes parts we're going to save, and we hope to have that taken care of this week. That's Plant 3. The administrator's report, we had an employee appreciation day since our last regular meeting, and it was a huge success. I want to make sure to thank Dora Sumter and everybody that she had on her team, committee-wise, working on that. It was a success. We had a Dunkin' booth. I got wet a few times, as you might imagine. Sheriff wasn't able to do it, but we had him on. We got him next time. It was too cold. Yeah, it was too cold for me, too. It was rough. And so anyway, they had karaoke and food and all that, so we're looking forward to doing that next year. It was well received, and the employees that have expressed gratitude for that. Recreation project, we also had some discussion at the work session on that, so I'm working to develop actionable plans and options that'll be discussed at the next meeting. And of course, the next meeting is only 3 weeks away because this meeting was bumped up, so we're hustling around trying to get that done. The good news is we received the second installment of the American Rescue Act money. So we now have that plus that $500 of fund balance y'all earmarked for $4.5 million there, ready to roll. The $2 million, there's $2 million in the state budget in the form of an earmark that was put there by the delegation, and it passed both the House and the Senate, but it has to go to the governor, and there is a chance, a reasonable chance, that he will veto that. But there's also a chance he won't veto that. So keep your fingers crossed. And Representative Hennigan and Senator Malloy, I've spoken to both of them. They're doing what they can to keep it in there, but it has moved to the governor's office. We touched on capital projects, meaning big maintenance, roof repair kind of projects we had when we asked to table that. We have what's called general obligation bond, which is a special millage on the tax bills to pay that debt that's carried, and we basically can refinance that to take the equity and use it to do these major repairs. We've got roofs, we've got some parking lots needing paving, we've got some equipment like dump trucks or backhoes that last 20 years or 15 years. So that would not require any kind of tax increase or anything, but we've been doing it about every 5 years, and it's been 5 years since then. So that's one way we were able to keep the budget down, is by having that. And then the last item, which is a sore subject, we were told today, and we checked again, that the digital sign is to ship Friday with installation scheduled on June 27th. So keep your fingers crossed. We're waiting for them. Everything's down there. Electricity's there. They're ready to roll. Yeah. Well, anyway, they're telling us that's when it's going to come. So. Can answer any questions anyone may have. Thank you.
All right, recognition of citizens. Howard and Roller. Come forward. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you have 2 minutes. Oh, yeah. 4 minutes, sorry. 4, 3. Oh, three. Three.
You got
Yeah, you're right.
and one person can speak for everybody. That's how they usually work it.
I'm coming in behalf of our community in Wallace, over in Delta Heights and Albert Lane. We have a guy in the community that is shooting tannerite.
Shooting what?
Shooting tannerite. It explodes. It explodes so bad that it shakes the houses. And we called, we've noticed spending 23 files on it, and this lady lives so close, it's probably 12 feet from her house, and this is going off, and we talked to the guy, and talked to him, and he thinks it's funny. He made the statement that he's shot 5 pounds, and on July the 4th, he's planning on shooting 15 pounds. And if it messes up our homes and stuff, what are we supposed to do? Because of somebody thinking this is a game. And we talked. I think just about everybody in the community's talked to him. But there's no reasoning with it. The police officers has talked, and everybody else. And he done it Friday, and it shook the house, and time he done it, he jumps in his trucks and leaves and goes to Chesterfield County. And we're tired. I've had to talk with some of the people, not none of these, but some of the people within the community, not to take physical action against it. And it's getting worse, and people's tired. We have elderly people in our community, and we just ask for this to stop. I know it's not against the law, but there's something can take place to stop this. My brother-in-law lives with us. He done it one day. That night, he went into AFib because it scared him so bad, because he didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it was at the time. And he ended up in the hospital. So there's something needs to be put in place against this. We were called one time, he had music blasting so loud, and we probably lived 300 yards from him, and 911 was called, and they could hear the music on the inside of the house. That's how loud. And he thinks it's a game. And every time, and I give it to our officers, they have tried, but their hands are tied also because it's not against the law. But something's got to be done before somebody gets hurt. The guy, y'all just talking about the road, the rocks on the roads. On Albert Lane, they put rocks out. He comes down through there, and he's got the rocks slung all in people's yards, how they drive. And there's kids, we even put up signs to stop him from speeding on this, on the road and on the dirt road, and he thinks it's a game.
Well, Mr. Arnold, thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, moving to recognition of council members. Councilman Woods?
I do agree with the gentleman that just spoke. A lady, back in Clay area, people shooting guns. Just an elderly lady, she's nervous, and we know that there's something that we might need to take a deep look at. Firearms in after hours, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, if somebody just starts shooting, and the lady trying to sleep, elderly lady, and she jumps, Cause bullets, we all know, they ain't got no destination. And fire was one thing, but when you start shooting, shotguns and guns in, around people's homes, you don't know that the people hitting the floor, they, don't know whether the bullets, come their way, they shoot in the woods. Yeah, we live in a rural area, but still, respect should be done. And I think, he brought a big point, it got to be a serious issue if a community of demented people come and vote their concerns and opinion. Cause, and I say, if he think it's a game, game change. And it's up to us as council members to change the game. And he brought it up to our attention, but I was gonna bring it up tonight for the citizen Clio, because of the fact that I got grandma 105 years old, love her to death. The last thing she needed to hear is gunfire across the street. And they just shooting, if you a hunter, hey, go in the woods and hunt. Don't hunt close by people's house. And it not only of her age, but other people of younger age, but yet may have situations that is on, unknown. Even myself, I ain't the strongest man in the world, but I hear a good shot, I'm ducking. And even my business, my place of business, I'm working on cars, and also you hear a ripple of AK-47 or whatever it is in the woods shooting, in the middle of the day. So much should be, anyway, I think that it's something that we as a council should look at it intensely. If there's not an ordinance in place we need to implement it. I think it's something we need to implement it. Can't be on the agenda today, but I think we need to make sure we put this at the forefront for our next meeting in 3 weeks to check the laws and everything else. And we know we cannot ask our officers, sheriff department, to go somewhere and knowing that they do not have an ordinance in place to arrest somebody or give somebody a fine. But it's our job. They come to us asking for help, and not only in Wiley, but in Clio and Blair, no matter where it is, the problem is this. And if we don't take the initiative to change the ordinance, shame on us. But I don't think it's a committee that will look the other way on this situation. That's everything to Clio, we all facing the heat and everything else, so I applaud the staff, financial staff, to get the budget together. We know it's been a tough task, but like I said, we in strange territory. We're in territory we've never been in before. Financial wise, with gas, with the cost of living, with food and everything else. But so, and we know when things are getting real tight, things gonna change. So officers, we have to, thank y'all for y'all due diligence, and I know this summer gonna be even rough for y'all than normal. So that's all I got to say for the C10 people.
Okay. First, I'd like to say thank the officers for the job they do, and they're doing a really well job with Marlborough County, helping protect and do whatever they can to safeguard us. The gentleman that spoke a few minutes ago, I sympathize with you because I'm in an area where I have a lot of stuff going on around my area too. And a lot of times I'm scared to come out the door because they be shooting and going on over there where I live at. But I get out the way as fast as I can and get back in the house. But I understand what y'all saying, but I think what we should look at is the fact that we are here to what? Protect and do whatever we can to safeguard the citizens of the county. And if we have to put an ordinance or whatever we have to do it in place to get it done, we need to do it. Because you're not the only one. I've met with some more people that's probably in the same predicament you all in right now. And not only that area, it's several areas that are raping havoc with people acting crazy. And of course you can't correct them acting crazy, but they don't have to be crazy around you. Okay? And so something needs to be done to really stop him. I don't know what will be done, but maybe the administrator and somebody, all of us can get together and come up with something. But I agree 100%, something really need to be done, okay? And then after they get through with you all, I'm gonna try to get something done for my area too. Cause I got the same thing going on down there, okay? And, cause one guy was shooting so down there one week, this girl was running down the road and he was shooting at her, and she jumped the fence and jumped in my yard. I said, lady, you got to go, cause I don't want to have to pull my gun out and start shooting. And I said, so you got to go. And, well, she jumped back across the fence and down the road she went. But, I have some of that stuff going on around there too. So, I understand what you're saying, and I hope and pray that we can find a solution for you, okay? All right.
She is certified carry a gun officer, also.
Yeah, oh, no, I got my certification, okay.
Okay, you know you do.
Yeah.
You legal?
First of all, sympathize with you, sir. I just ask that, Mr. Administrator, if we can form, Mr. Chairman, if we can form some type of committee, because I know it's complicated just to put together an ordinance, because the law has to coincide with state law and everything else. We just can't just write something down. So if we can get a committee up and get with the law and see what we can legally do to assist these citizens and address them, maybe not by the next meeting, but soon. And maybe we can have some answers for you. But I can guarantee you this, these law officers that are here now, I guarantee you that if it was something that they could do and they were breaking the law, I guarantee you they would be on it. You know what I'm saying? So I have full confidence in them.
I appreciate it,
You know.
too. I'm not beside
Yeah.
you. The first time it happened, I had heart problems too.
I understand.
It scared me so bad.
Yes,
And when you shoot the gun, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm trying to sleep.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. But I guarantee you, they're gonna do their due diligence to make sure that everything that they can do will be done. Gentleman, Sheriff, once again, thanks for the job that you're doing, man. We really appreciate it. The citizens of the county appreciate it. They can feel the difference. You know, there's no perfection nowhere in the country right now. It doesn't appear to be. But here in Marlborough County, we're kind of blessed. We just had an event over the weekend, almost 10,000 people. I know that's just a guess, but no incidents that I'm aware of. It was absolutely, and you all, the presence of you all, I feel made that possible. You know. But Mr. Doug, yeah. The name is definitely there, but there is, as far as paving roads, am I wrong in thinking that if it's a green sign, we maintain those roads? Is that the way that go? And if it's blue sign means it's a private road? White sign means what?
City.
That's city. Anything is city, okay. Matter of fact, what extent do we maintain that road? If it's a dirt road, do we automatically pave it, or?
No, I mean, they have to petition to see the transportation committee.
They do?
I mean, they're not paving any more county roads, because we don't have any way to maintain them.
Okay.
Once they're paved.
So we don't pave roads?
No, we don't.
The county does not pave roads? We repair, like we put the slag, the rocks and stuff on
With
it?
the slag.
Okay, matter of fact, that's the answer that I needed right there, because I just didn't know. And as far as the recreation project, man, I'm really ready to get that on the road and get that to where there's just no news that we can act on today, I guess.
It'll be next meeting, because we're doing the things we talked about.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
meeting with some people next week.
Matter of fact. And once again, thanks for the job you did with the budget. That was hard work. We tried every way we could to do certain things, to do it to the fullest amount. But we had to make some tough choices. So hopefully, everybody can compromise and come to an agreement.
Mr. Rowland, all the people in Watts community, I spoke with him actually yesterday, he came by and we talked, and, it's the same thing as I hadn't spoken to any council member, but it was the same thing I thought, maybe there's some type of ordinance we can put in place, there's, the Tannerites, like farmers used years ago responsibly, they use dynamite to blow up stumps out of the fields and this and that, but society's got now, people do things irresponsible now, so it's almost the same thing, so I don't know what I guess 5 pounds is comparable to a stick of dynamite or so, I don't know, so 15 pounds would be comparable to I don't know, 3 sticks of dynamite, so, maybe there's got to be something we can do, it's, that, if, you set off that within close proximity to a house, that's how they kind of got rid of, I guess, in Oklahoma, that's kind of the same stuff they bombed the buildings with up there. So maybe some type of explosive or something. We've got to do something. Nothing no worse than being dead asleep at night and somebody irresponsibly at 2 o'clock in the morning shoots that stuff off and wakes everybody up. And so it's uncalled for. And so yeah, we're in agreement that something has to be done. And so we'll ask staff to look at some. At least what's out there. I know the sheriff, if there was anything the sheriff could do, he would be handling it already. So, and so I know he would. And so, like I said, if you go out there 20 times and can't do anything, you still have to answer that call. So, we'll see if we can't put something with some teeth to it. So whenever those guys respond, they'll have something to stop it. Hopefully, sometimes people just go on and you don't have to deal with them. Sometimes that's a good thing, but if not, you have to take measures, and we want to do that to protect our citizens. As Ms. Plato said, that's one of our number one things, is protect them. We want a good quality of life here, whatever neighborhood you live in. As in a rural area, guns is one of the things we all grew up with, but as we said, it was done responsible. And it's just it's sad that people don't have no more respect for their neighbors than anything. So it's like they forgot the 2 greatest commandments, if they get back to that, everything else would fall in place. So we'll work on that. Thank the sheriff and his department for everything that they're doing. Traffic's wide open. We're fixing to get busy, so whenever there's accidents, people, you'll see it all over the news. They don't stop, slow down for a red light or a blue light no more. So if they're out on the sides of the road, helping we don't want a loss of life or anything. So if you see something, slow down. That's the best thing to do. If they're hurt, they cannot respond. He could get up here and preach for an hour about that type of stuff, or if they're beside the road, you get slow down. We all want to get back home to our families. So, like I said, but we do thank you for everything you've done in your department. So relay that to them, if you would. And so, to the council, we work hard on the budget, and some hard times, inflation, the price of eggs and milk and gas is I call it all-time high. And for people on fixed incomes, it's hard, $20 don't seem like a whole lot, but when you ain't got it, you ain't got it. And so it's hard to make those decisions. And so you want to make the best decisions for the whole county, and that's we have to make hard decisions on both ways. And and that's I think that we got a good council. I'm thankful for the council for working on that, administrator for working hard on it, and his staff. And so we're thankful for it. Everybody's going to be traveling, up and down the road. So, Marlborough County's fixing to get real busy from now until time school starts back. So these kids, they're playing, and so keep an eye out for everybody. We're Marlborough County. We're a family. It don't matter from CO10 to Wallace, we all family, and from one end to the other. So keep an eye out for everybody. And if you see somebody, doing something, be the eyes and ears, and make a call to 911, and they'll get out there and see if we can't keep everybody safe. So, the Delta project, it's been one of those things that I didn't know if it would ever happen, but I'm glad it did, and it's starting to come down. And so thankful for everybody for the hard work on that, and hopefully down the road we can get some jobs in there. That's the whole key, is to revamp it where we can get some jobs going. Thank Before I make any comments, I ask Sheriff McNeil, do you have any comments to address the
Yes,
council?
sir, I always got comments to make. I'm there without words. First, I want to introduce Warden Travis Bragg. He's the newest member, I guess, at the detention center. He's a retired warden at a federal institution. He has replaced Warden Thomas. He started the first of the month. Hopefully, we'll continue to do, and I know good things will be done now, will continue to be done at the detention center. The application that we've been working on with the federal inmates has been completed, and we're about to start into the negotiation part of that application, trying to come up, make sure that we meet all the standards that the feds are asking us to meet. But the application is completed. They have it. We've already started, the captain has already started some conversation, so we're in conversation now with that part of it. Mr. Rolo, we've been out to your place 23 times as of Saturday night. That young man confronted one of our officers in Sherrall Sunday, and made some threats to him about us coming out there. We are trying to find any laws we can. The closest thing that we've been able to come up with as of yesterday was we reached out to the state fire marshal's office. The chief did, and we may be able to come up with something, but we're waiting on them to call us back. If not, I would ask that the county attorney see what he can come up with some type of ordinance or something that he can find, create some type of ordinance or something that'll help us do what we need to do, especially even with guns as well as this counter right that he's shooting out there. I'd like to be able to put him in jail. Because it's not fair, y'all. It's not fair to us to have to go out there 23 times. And he knows it. And I appreciate the way you're trying to get it done, and I hope you appreciate what we're trying to do as well.
I really do.
But we're going to deal with it. As soon as we're given something that says we can do it, I will promise you, you'll do it. That's not a problem. Calls for services is continuing to get more, y'all. 2 weeks ago, one shift had 22 calls. That's all over the state. I mean, that was all over this county. 22 calls in the 12-hour period. That's a bunch. That's a lot. I'm working 4 hours a night now until I ride with everybody. The other night when the outage was out, here's a good example. We were at 79, had the road blocked because of lines being down. We had to go from 79 over to Marlborough Co-op because the alarm went off there. We had to leave there and go on a call, and then we had to come back over to 79. That was 2 people. That's a lot of driving with calls going in between. Sunday night they had 18 calls just Sunday night. That's a lot of calls with the amount of people that we have working. I mean, there's no other way for me to say that. But we have to, hopefully, I don't know what the budget's going to look like, but I hope that we are able to get some more help. We have to have help. I was listening at comments that were being made about having to increase the fire call because you may lose guys. I'm afraid we're full now. I'm one person short. But they can't keep working like they're working, and we can expect them to stay there. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about work. If you get in the car and you rode like they had to ride and do what they had to do, it's different. It's not working in a plant. It's not working in a store. It's not working on a farm. You're going from one person's house to another house. That's a lot of stress on anybody. And then to get up the next night and go do it again, to answer those many calls, it takes something out of you. It does. I know I hear things, but that's what they signed up for. We all did. And not to be stupid. And that's crazy sometimes. As far as the detention center itself, I think you're 5 people short now?
Yes.
About 5 short. And we're doing well, but we need help. The work needs help. If this grant, if this application is done and we make it, he's going to need help. He's going to need a lot of help. Obviously, there's a reimbursement there, but he's going to need help.
And lastly, I'd like to invite all of you out. We're having Family Day at the Sheriff's Office this coming Saturday from 10 to 12. Obviously, you're all invited. Please come out. We're going to have some fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to do some stuff. Let our hair down for a few minutes. And I think it's needed. Again, thank you for this opportunity to give me to speak. And we look forward to do what we can to help as much as we can. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff. I want to commend the staff for the work done on the budget. I know we've talked and verbally sparred over different dispensations of the budget, but our main goal is to ensure that we do our due diligence with this process. With that being said, I can honestly say that I didn't get into this service position for popularity or to be liked or to look a certain way or to project some type of image. I pray for this position to do what I think is right. And I've been on boards and committees since I've been 16 years of age. And I can honestly say that this is probably the worst dispensation of the most important board I've been on, but the worst depiction of what a board should be. I'm disappointed in the leadership of this council and what we are supposed to be doing. Because we said in January there was going to be some strategic changes that we engage amongst ourselves. That has not happened. And until that happens, we will continue to revisit these same issues because we haven't done our due diligence. Mr. Mullin said in January that a lot of the issues that we have going on in our county is not because of him in his position, it's because the council haven't done what they were supposed to do and what they're obligated and mandated to do. And we still have failed to improve our own operation as a council so we can begin to instruct to do things better so citizens won't have to be tortured, so citizens won't have to continue to suffer because we're in a service position and we're not serving. It might not be the most popular thing to say and people might not like me, and again, I didn't get into this position to be liked because I'm loved at 741 Craig Circle. But we're not doing what we're supposed to do as council members, and it's impacting our county. It's impacting the citizens that we go out and promise when we're campaigning that we're going to do all we can to make their lives better, and we get up here and we do the total opposite. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to me as a citizen, a taxpayer citizen who look at myself just as that. It's not fair that we sit up here and not do what we're mandated to do by service, by putting our name in the ballot, on the ballot to become servant, and we get up here and we do less serving, serve ourselves versus serving the community. It's sad, it's depressing, it's disheartening to know that people want to do better, but leadership. I'm not in a leadership position on this council, so there are certain things that I can't do, certain meetings that I can't call, certain people that I can't get in touch with to form. But our leadership is not doing what they're mandated to do, which is to lead this council as we help lead and govern this county. And until we really do what we're mandated to do, we will still be in the position that we're still in, which is high, number one, in unemployment, lack of economic development, lack of progressive action, lack of anything substantive for this county. It's sad that you get these positions and the people vote for you to get into these positions, and we do the bare minimum. Very, very, very minimum. We're supposed to have committees that we meet to strategize and engage. And because we don't have these meetings, this is the only medium I have to voice these concerns. There were promises made about committees being established, committees meeting, and we failed ourselves, which means we fail the citizens of Marlborough County. And I'm not ashamed to say it. We are failing our citizens, but we're prospering because we get what more of them don't get. We get an opportunity to get some monetary gain. We get an opportunity to have health insurance. We're getting what most of our citizens are not getting, and we're getting it at their expense. And we're doing very little to improve the circumstances of our county. Again, it's depressing, distressing, disheartening, and until we as a council improve our operation, we will not help improve this county.
Councilman Blatton?
I just want to thank all the staff for helping us with the budget, and I hope the best for the sheriff's department, and we do want to help you any way we can. I certainly do, and I think the rest of us want to do the same thing. They want the best for the county, and it is a tough year this year, but we're going to get it right. We're going to do a little more and more each time, and we're going to get it right. But it was a tough budget for us too. The 5 meals, and we took some out of reserve. We took more than we actually wanted to, but that was the way to go, I felt like. We had that money to be right with the citizens, not go up no more than we had to. But, I thank y'all for what y'all do. And as far as out there with your problem there, that's a shame. It's 12 foot or so that he's doing this from the lady's residence. If I was her, I'd be taking pictures of my walls right now with a daily camera, and the first little crack I got, I'd get me a lawyer and go see him and hit him with the pocketbook. He'll quit that mess. I mean, it may take us 3 months to do something. You might need to do something in 3 weeks. See what I'm saying? If he was that close to my house, I'd be taking me some pictures, and that window that wouldn't crack, but it's cracked the next morning after all that going on, he'd be getting a letter in the mail, and I'd be wanting some damages fixed. And sometimes you got to go that route. Not saying we need to do something, and we will, but you might need to do something sooner rather than later. If he starts doing that this weekend, if I were y'all, I'd get together and find me what best law y'all thought it was. Go and start taking the pictures now, though. And I think that'd be a way to go and get started on it, because there ain't no sense in him doing 12 foot from a personal property. I mean, if he ain't got no more respect than that, then, I don't know. I might have to shoot me some too. I might get me some fireworks.
And I know that the state's working on the law as far as mental health things and that kind of issue. So hopefully that'll get resolved through that too, because.
Well, I hope so, but I'm just saying, take you some pictures. If that much going off at one time is going to do damage if it ain't the 12 foot. It's a big boom and the vibration and all. You're not counting if you have a heart attack or something, then that might be with a lawyer can help you too. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes you got to do things different to get a result. You can't do the same thing. So I wouldn't make nothing up. But if that wall wouldn't crack when he started, and when he left his crack, he'd pay for my wall. So and that's all I got to say.
Thank you. I think it's sad you got to come before council and ask, for help for your unruly neighbor. You got to be respectful of your fellow citizens. And if you can't work it out amongst yourself, it's just, he's being unreasonable. We're sorry about that, but we'll see what we can put together for you. Sheriff's Office, I appreciate y'all's hard work. And I know y'all had a big budget request, and this was just a tough year. And we got what we could do, with raising taxes, 5 meals. We really can't hit the citizens any harder than that. But we stand behind you guys, and we sure do have the full support from us but we did what we could, and we'll see if we can do some more next year, guys. Thanks for the hard work on the budget, Wes and staff, and if we don't have any other business, do we have a motion?
So move. Second.
All right, we're standing adjourned.